Okay, so what you have done is like, let's go to model. I think we'll understand better now. All right. Let me just recap whatever we have done so far, right? In terms of model, just don't worry about this table at all now for now. And this is the calendar auto we did, right? That table is also there. So we have this is what we describe in kind of dimension model. We have a central kind of fact table, right? And you can kind of imagine now, right? It is almost like the star kind of structure, except this, right? This is addition. There may be one more thing. So that's why the name the star schema model. Okay, there is a central thing and surrounded by the dimension table. Okay. So hopefully now you are able to connect the dots. So central fact means the transaction table, and all these are the dimension or mostly the text kind of field, text, date, and those kind of fields. Okay, and all these are having a unique key, right? For example, date is having a unique key called date key, which is linked to this date. So you can just hover the mouse, then we'll be able to see. Similarly, the segment. So I linked segment ID to segment ID and country ID to country ID, discount ID to discount ID, and product ID to product ID. So only this is very simple model. Of course, this may not be in use any actual companies, any of the companies. This is just for the practice and to understand, right? So normally a product dimension itself can have hundreds of columns, okay, hundreds of attributes, right? So as the date dimensions also, it can have 50 to 100 columns as such, right? All these columns, country also, it can have a lot of information. Discount may be with bit light one. Segment, I'm not sure. Probably you're the right person to tell on the segment part. But I have seen the product dimension. I have seen the country, date, all those things. So many clients, many of the clients. Okay, and fact table also depending on the company, right? So the sales sometimes I have seen 100 plus columns. That is this, I'm talking about this table now, not these tables, the transaction tables. I've seen 100 plus columns, but not all the columns will be in use by a single person. So we have to cater the different business unit people, right? So because of that, there will be additional information, calculated columns, and all those things. Okay. So one thing probably which we didn't optimize is still, I think this one will not do it, but I'll just tell in terms of fact table, right? Financial fact. All right. So if you see here, there is a sales price, there's a manufacturing price, leave that alone. There's a sales price, then the gross sales, right? And this gross sales, since we have units, right? Ideally, it should be number of units times the sales price. So this is a redundant column. Even this can be removed. We can calculate it on the fly, or it can be a calculated column. We need not depend on the source at all. We have discount. Again, the net sales is nothing but gross sales minus discount. So actually both of these columns, right, either the gross sales or the sales price, one of them can be eliminated. I think the sales price can be eliminated because gross sales is where we are going to report. The sales price is not at all record. If required, we can always derive it, gross sales divided by number of units, right? So as net sales, it may not be needed. If you are trying to optimize, these are the areas where it can be optimized. So as profit is nothing but I think the gross sales minus this cost of goods, right? That gives me the profit, right? So from sales, from the source file, we need not as such take it. Source itself as such, we need not take it. We can always derive this data within Power BI, which will return the same thing as long as the business logic and business remains same. The data also shouldn't vary from what you receive from the source file and what is being reported here. Okay, clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay, all right. So this is the way we keep it like kind of optimized data set, we tell. Optimized for reporting. If you have so much data, what happens? Because it's going to, in this case, it's going to consume the memory. There is also another concept called from database, we retrieve the data. What happens is if you try to retrieve a lot of data, too much of data, it will take time to retrieve the data. Okay, because it has to something called execute the query or SQL, which is structured query language, right? So it has to fetch the data. It has to, first of all, it has to hit the database, and then it has to run the query. Then third thing is it has to return the data, right? So that's a bit process on its own, okay? So to do all those things and again get the data in that much volume, right? This is nothing actually. 700 records is nothing. So we are generally talking in kind of millions of rows and all, most of the companies, right? Or at least in tens of thousands of rows, right? So when it comes to that much kind of volume data, right? So we have to see that we optimally fetch the data and optimally store the data also. Optimization, that's what it is, okay? All right, so let us move on to visualization maybe, right? The visualization or one more file I can take. Do you extract from the web sources at all?
No, as I mentioned to you, our complete data is based out of a portal, and we drag the data from the portal. The
Okay.
portal is in turn linked to SAP. So
Ah,
all the data gets migrated from the SAP to the
Okay.
portal, and then from the portal we do the
Okay.
BI.
Okay, got it. But whether the portal displays something like this, let us, I think I would have shown you this classic example mostly, right? In my one of the demos I would have shown whether your portal, right? Hold on one second, it comes up. While it comes up, so I think so many people are looking into this. Okay, all right. So whether your portal is like this, the data, what it's represented.
It is not. It is not.
It
See,
is
basically,
not. Okay, I understood. I understood. You have such a certain kind of filters, and using that filters, you, I think, run the
yes,
this one and do that. I got
yeah.
it. I thought if it's like this, then it's very easy actually. In Power BI, you can directly take it. Okay, so that is one thing. I think I did that. You want to again see how it happens in Power BI? This is directly we fetch this data from the Power BI actually. Do you want to go through once more?
Yeah, you can, but I don't think we did this directly into the Power BI. We did
Yeah,
it.
we did it. We did it actually.
We
In
did it.
the demo, I have done it. I remember.
Okay, okay, okay.
But we'll do that. Not a problem. We'll do that once. So that another no set of data. We have done Excel and CSV, I guess, and text file. So this site is there. No? Directly we will fetch the data. So this is a site www.worldmetersinfo.coronavirus, right? So what we'll do is after that we'll start with the visualization. Okay. So either we can do from the query editor or this one. It doesn't matter. Okay. So we'll do it from here itself. One second. From the desktop. Okay. From the desktop we'll do. So what we have to do is we have to fetch the data from web, right? Web is nothing but internet. Okay. So for internet, we have to give the URL, right? Unique, what is that resource locator? So URL. So I have copied that URL, right? www worldometers. Probably you are also following this. Most of the people follow this for the statistics, right? So you have this option. Currently, this is like available for the public. Public as in, if you log on, you will see. If I log on, also I'll see. It's not like our Facebook or Gmail or something, right? Because that is more of personalized. Whereas this is available for the public users. So that's why I can say anonymous user. As an anonymous user, I can always get this data. Okay. get this data. So you have certain options here. If at all the website is not responding, right? Then how long you want to wait, whether you want to wait for 1 minute or 2 minutes, that's a timeout part, actually. Okay. Also, you can sometimes there will be one main URL, then there will be sub URLs and all those things. So that also you can give. So this is a bit of technical. I will leave it for now. And so once you say okay, right, most of the times it will ask whether you have any username password to access this site. Okay, for example, Facebook or Google kind of thing, if you try to access, it will require this one. So in this case, it's a public website, right? Mostly it's anonymous user. No login is required. Okay. So what it's doing is it's connecting to that portal right now, how I connected using a browser, right? Similar to that. So Power BI is connecting to that particular web portal and trying to see what kind of data is there in that web portal. Okay. So it's a reading, you can think of, it's reading that web portal. Okay. So, so it has come up with the results now. So similar to our Excel, right? It has given me 2-3 information. You can always preview here. Okay. So I am interested in mostly the table kind of data, not the web data. If you want to see web data, it's here. Actually, the very first section, right? The number of corona cases and this calamity deaths and all those things are there. First section, right? And then the next section. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to table view. It is fetching actually. Yeah. Okay, this is what probably I am interested in. Okay, because this is what the table data. If at all your portal was having this, you could have directly fetched this data. Okay, and this is also one more table. Table preview downloaded on April 9th. Okay, it is. I think on this date I have downloaded. That is not required. It's I think our Power BI thing. Oh, this is also saying Power BI. 9th. Huh? Okay, let me refresh this. It should come as 28th, I'm assuming. Thursday, April 9th. Thursday, April 9th. It is a bit of slow because the website itself is having so much traffic, as well as the portal, I think because of so many hits, right? It is taking some time. Okay, finally. So I think this is the latest data, 3080. And what is this one actually? Okay, this is also now refreshing actually. Okay, all right. So, but this is the latest data, 308, and probably India is available somewhere. India? Here, right? 29,000, correct? So it is the one. So let us see what is this receive editing instead. Okay, this also got reset now. All right. So I'll select this. Okay, and I can do the same thing. Either I can do the transform data, or I can do this thing load data. Okay, transform data or load data. I will go with load data. And let me see, check the data first. If at all I need to transform, I can always go ahead and transform the data. Okay. already. So the first column is countries, the second column is total cases, third column is new cases, total death, new deaths, total recovered. So it has so much information, active cases, and I think per million, right? How many cases?
Death per million.
Total cases is also there, I think. Let us go to web portal while it comes back, right? Deaths per million is there, total cases, both are there. These are total cases per 1 million, and this is the deaths per 1 million, total tests, serious, critical, then tests per 1 million, I think, right? So population, 1 million pop is nothing but population, right? So like this, they have already come up with the this one, right? Data. This is getting refreshed, I think, very often. This particular website, right? And this using this, a lot of people have done a lot of reports. Actually, already a lot of people have done. So this is nothing but the our COVID, you can say, right? COVID-19, something like that you can say, because it has come up as a table 0, right? So if at all we need any changes, right? If at all you need any changes, you can always make, I don't know why country other is there. You can always say country, so country other. You can always say country. Then the total cases, it's fine. New cases, fine. Deaths, fine. Something went wrong. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Here. Okay, so total cases, new cases, total death, new days, total recovered active cases, serious, critical. Okay, total cases, deaths per this one, total deaths, and this one. Okay, so now there is an option. Just hold on. Okay, I have to be in query editor. Sorry. Hold on, it is, I think, a bit busy here. Why it is busy? Okay, this is fine. Why this is busy, I'm not sure. Okay, let me come back on that. Okay. Now, probably some of the countries, they don't have this data and all. And some of the countries, what is this total test? That information is not available, right? So that's why you see some of the blank cases. Some of them may be true data. Some of them data may not be available. But as far as countries like our country, India, and other countries are concerned, most probably the data should be provided to them. Okay, data is provided to the who are mostly the World Health Organization. It's provided from there. People pick the data. Okay, from there. Okay, so here there is some this one. Okay, scope for improvement in terms of the data. Okay, so here if you see, there is a total something like this. Europe total, all these things are not required. Okay, so that may give a bit of wrong information. This I can always derive. Okay, if at all Europe is required, I think I may have to have a column for Europe or something like that. That way I can total, I can always derive. World, I can derive. World and total are same actually. If you can see, I think both are same. So these are unnecessary data. So that's why I thought I will go here. For some reason, this is still busy. Let me close this. Not save the changes now. Yes. Okay. Something is wrong. Still, let me see. Okay. Let's come back here and all right. So what I'm going to
Do
do
we need to
is,
consider a different window otherwise? Because we already have so many dimensions running on the same window.
which window you're talking about? This window? You mean?
I'm talking about the Power Query editor. We already have financial, sales, as well as other dimensions which are already configured in that. Plus, we have
Acha. You mean different project?
yeah.
That is one is different project. Yeah, that shouldn't matter actually. This is nothing actually. This is very light. Actually. Yeah. We can always create a different project. Your point is correct. We can always do that. This I will show simple. Probably another day we'll take it up again. Another case. This I will make it simple for now. Okay. So what I don't need is all those some kind of total and all those things, right? So those kind of things I don't need. So I can uncheck that. So I will just search for, not search actually. So this I will uncheck maybe. And some Europe total was there, world total, something like that was there, right? Where is that guy now? Where world total I saw? A blank I'll remove. Blank I don't need because it's a country, right? So I'll remove that. Europe total. Okay, I think it was in the other field. Let me do this. And apply. Okay, world is still here. Okay. Should I remove that? World is there. He has done a lot of work actually already. Last time when I saw this thing was not there. The world, North America, South America, that kind of things were not there. Okay. So now what he has done is he has added all these things. Okay. So world he has added, North America he has added, all the, I think continent wise he has added, but I don't see world here. How come? W, world is there. Okay. And North America is there, South America is there. Asia might be there. Asia is not there. Africa is
Asia is there. Asia is there.
there. Oh, Asia is there.
Just before Australia, Asia is there.
Australia. So continent wise, he has basically done. So Europe should be there, no? South America. SOU. Oops, it's moving so fast. Oh, Africa or South Africa? South Africa is a continent, right? South Africa. Africa is a continent. South Africa is a country. And LM and North America. I'll remove this much for now. Let's see. All right.
Typically, how many dimensions can be normally added whenever we take up a new project?
It depends on the business basically. Okay. So if you remember, right, initially I mentioned it depends on business as in I check with you, right, how you are analyzing the data.
Okay, so
So
based on the business process owner
ha ha
requirement,
ha ha ha
dimension.
correct. Okay, and not one business owner. It has to be across all the company, right? Company wide, you have to get that requirement.
So these people normally who use Power BI or for that matter Tableau,
Uh-huh.
they be using these programs throughout the day, or it will be for a couple of minutes or couple of hours in a day.
No,
When the
if
in the morning when the data is getting prepared and the data is getting circulated, or the data is getting
uh-huh,
circulated at regular intervals, say
uh-huh.
at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, only then the access happens
No, there are, you're talking about getting this data or using the tool.
using the
Uh,
tool. Using the
Using the tool will be mostly full-time job for the developer. If they're a developer, technical developer, that will be their full-time job. But what they'll have to do is they have to talk to the users regularly. They will be in touch with the user, business user, or the somebody at, let us say, US client, right? Generally what happens is there will be one more point of contact who will be in touch with all the users, who will be the one single point of contact to with that person, right, or through that person the requirement will be received. Okay, and the requirement every day that person will have discussion, or the every day something new comes up like that. So because of that, it is like it's a continuous process. So if you think of it, I think you are not having much idea about how IT companies work, right? So the project will be given to a company, for example, Cognizant or a Tata company, Infosys. So those kind of companies will get a project from, let's say, Walmart or Amazon, those kind of companies, right? So that project itself will run for 3 to 6 months. It's not a short-lived project. Okay. So in the 3 to 6 months, there will be many reports built, many dashboards built for the users. Okay, that's how it happens. So this whatever I have shown, this is not the case in the companies, like the financial data. This is nothing actually, right? So there will be huge data set, and it will not be in Excel. It will be in the database.
No, I understand that. What I'm
Yeah,
saying is,
yeah.
see, normally we are using the Power BI or we are using the Tableau
Huh.
for depicting the analysis in a
Huh.
pictorial form.
Visualization. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are getting either circulated through mails or through your mobile Power BI
Hmm.
platform where there
Hmm.
is a access given to a
Business
uh,
user.
user. Correct.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, there may be specific timelines when these, some of them,
Hmm.
the constant parameter which are getting tracked.
Huh. Huh.
Okay,
Huh. Huh.
they need to go at regular intervals, say at 10 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, 4 in the
Okay.
afternoon, 6 in the. So,
Okay. Huh.
in which case,
Huh.
the data just needs to keep on getting refreshed.
Okay.
And since you are already freezing the visualization part of it, which can be a bar chart, which can be a pie chart, which
Huh.
can be whatever.
Huh. Huh.
So
Huh.
at 2 o'clock, the refreshed data goes to them. Like the way we are seeing the web data, where there is a
Hmm.
refresh at 1 o'clock, refresh at 2
Huh.
o'clock.
Huh. 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 Huh.
Okay. So
Huh.
there'll be a refresh which will be happening.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I'm saying from that point of view,
Okay.
if I build the visualization once,
Huh. Huh. Huh.
since my
Uh,
database is going to be common,
hmm.
because I'm going to be dependent either on an Excel file or I'm going to be dependent on a SQL server or
Right.
whatever. Yeah. So
Right.
my data is getting linked from there on a
Huh.
every 1 hour basis or every
Huh.
2 hours
Huh.
basis,
Huh.
and the refresh.
Huh. 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 Right.
If that is the case,
Huh.
will this not be a one-time updation which will be required?
One time, see, let us take this itself as an example, the COVID part, right? COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
So it is changing every second, isn't it?
Exactly. So the person who has created the COVID part of it,
Huh.
will we be sitting and doing it again and again? I don't think.
No. That is your question. Oh,
That's exactly
I thought you are asking about the access part.
no.
Access as in how how the development team or these guys access that, correct?
Yeah.
So the refresh part, right? So there is a that's what I'm just opening. I will probably take another day class, right? So this is the another module which we have not seen it. Okay, I think I shown you during the demo. So once you publish it, so I'm not in desktop, I'm not in the Power BI query editor. I am there in something called Power BI service. Okay, so this is desktop. Once you are done with your report, what we do is we do something called publish, right? So publish is generally the web, this one, right? app.powerbi.com. This is where it gets published. Okay. So if you recall the architecture again, let me bring up the architecture back again for a minute, right? So this is how the architecture, the previous page, right? So this is on the left hand side on this, right? Left hand side is Power BI desktop and all those things. So once it's done on the left hand side, the job of the development team or the technical team is done. Okay. Then what they do, they will bring it to the Power BI service. Now the data source is no longer connected to desktop. Now the data source has to be connected to this Power BI service, the middle part, the gateway, what you see here, right? So that's where the data source has to be there. So the refresh, to coming back to your question, the refresh has to happen in the cloud or the internet. Okay, so it's no longer the Power BI desktop. You are able to get this point, right?
Yeah, I'm able to get it. So
Ah.
so just correct me if I'm right.
Ha.
When we are talking about the Power BI service and when we are talking about the Power BI gateways, this is the next step of the ETL or this is the ETL step?
No, this is the purely reporting. This is not ETL at all.
Okay, this is the Power BI service in the Power BI gateway is cloud based. So if somebody has to access it from the cloud, that is what you are talking about there.
Yeah, the business user will not have the Power BI desktop in their system. The business user always, the end user, always access through this cloud service, the Power BI service. Okay, they will always use, except there are companies who will have their own reporting servers, that is also there, who do not like to go to cloud, right? They may have their own report servers, so that is also there. And then that end users will access the report server. It is again mostly it's if the somebody is sitting in US and the server is in India, then again it's internet only. You can think of it as still internet or intranet. You understand intranet, right?
Yes, I think it is. See, because if you look at if you're looking at a client, then it may be a internet. But if you're looking at an organization specific, then it will be always an intranet only.
Intranet, correct. No. But Microsoft Power BI, right? Always they kind of recommend to go with this Power BI service only. Okay. They push all the clients to take up the service only, as in cloud. They have set up everything. So the reason is you understand cloud little bit, no? Mostly.
Yes.
Right. So with the cloud, what happens is you need not take care of this servers. You need not take care of all the infrastructures, correct? So and the required applications, all those things Microsoft is providing, right? So what you need is a common space. The common space is given by Microsoft again. So that common space is nothing but your own Power BI service. If it's a feature, probably they will give a one service called feature.powerbi.com, or directly they may give future.com, something like that. Okay, Microsoft.feature.com, something like that. So every user will access the reports through that portal, through that URL. Okay, now that URL has to get refreshed, as in whatever underlying data sources, they have to get refreshed from time to time, right? So for that, this gateway is there, whatever you see here, the gateway, right? And the Power BI service will get the data refreshed via this Power BI gateway, okay? And once that refreshed, the data gets refreshed here, then the report also gets refreshed automatically. So now the question, your question is whether it happens manually or not. That's why I showed you that architecture, right? Whether it happens manually or not, it has to be automated, because manually it's impossible to do that, right? So what generally happens is there is a kind of no reports here. If you come to report or data set, actually, all right. So there is an option to refresh, actually. So that refresh can be scheduled. Okay, that refresh can be scheduled from time to time. Okay, now you can see here right now. I think I don't have that license set, so I'll have to get that. So it's not enabled. Okay, but what is that thing is here? There is something called manage gateways. This is what gateway I was talking about. So the gateway will be set up, and our data sources will also be set up. Okay, the data sources like this, right? So for example, that financial MS, right? This is what I have set up for some other class actually already. So I'm taking from this, right? See this one, this one, this thing and all, right? So I have set up that, and I am going to set up the refresh interval. So that refresh is going to be set up under this one, data source, data set basically. Okay, under this data set, this one schedule refresh. So here there will be one more option which is not visible. Let me see here. Here it's visible. Okay, so the gateway connection and scheduled refresh. All right. So here you have an option. What time you want to set up? As you said, right? Whether you want at 2 p.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever time you want, you can refresh this. Okay. So every half an hour is kind of thing, interval. So you can refresh the daily, weekly, and all those things. Okay. So the daily with the half an hour interval, you can always set up. You can see here 30 minutes is there, right? Half an hour. All right. And if you have something called pro license, you can set up 48 times actually. Okay. 24 hours, right? 48 times. So if you have free license, you can set up only 8 times or so. Okay. And if you have another license, premium license, you can set up any number of times, I think. All right. You got it, no?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, let me rephrase my question.
Okay. Okay.
For example, let us take a IT example, because if you take a retail example, it will be only applicable to me. If I am working with a client for whom I am generating their reports, or I am generating their visualizations, and I am sharing it to them through the cloud. Through the cloud. Okay. Now there are two types of reporting which goes, or there are two types of visualization which goes. One is a general reporting which happens at a regular interval. For example, the regular interval may be once in a day.
Okay.
And there is an exception reporting where we are trying to identify that these are the deviations.
Okay.
Okay. One is the general reporting, which will tell you that this is a status.
Okay.
This is the target, and this is where we are. This is the percentage of achievement, etc.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And then there may be exceptional cases which you may be trying to flash it to a specific set of customers.
Okay.
The first set of report is for everybody in the world.
Okay.
The second set of report is only for specific people in the world.
Okay.
So the first set of people, first set of report, it can be
scheduled once a day.
Yeah, it can be one. It can be scheduled once in a day, where I do not need to do any kind of interference, because the data is pulled from the database server. The fact file and the dimension files are already created and kept ready.
Correct.
So the system automatically picks it, refreshes it, and throws the data to the user.
Correct.
Only the exception part of it needs to be done specifically and given to the user.
But isn't it also scheduled at a certain time?
No, it is. That's what I'm saying. So if it is being scheduled, that means you are not going to be using the Power BI throughout the day. Nobody is going to sit and monitor the Power BI the whole day. That's my question to you. Or does somebody has to sit and monitor the
Okay.
Power BI saying that is everything going on fine, and is it
Okay.
pulling out the data correctly? Is the
Okay.
database working perfect? Is the sync
Okay.
correctly with the server? Is somebody to
Okay.
do the check on that? Is what my question is.
Okay, okay. See, there one question I think you answered yourself. That's what it is, right? The second part, right? Second part, what you are saying is whenever some limit crosses or whenever that one happens, that time you need to get the report itself. That's what you are kind of saying, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So first thing is the Power BI is not the data source, correct? Power
Correct.
BI is not the data source. The
Correct.
data source, for example, COVID, for example, I'm discussing.
Yes.
This is just now what we have exported.
Correct.
So in America, the cases increases by 10,000. That Power BI will not identify. That website has to identify that, correct? So that website only can tell us whether the data is exceeding some limit. So in our case, generally what happens is the ETL is a guy who has to identify that kind of scenario. Okay.
No.
So,
Okay.
but,
Sorry, I'll just interrupt in the middle.
Okay.
Now I have linked my database from
Ah,
web
ah,
with a schedule.
okay.
So as and when the web data gets refreshed,
Ah,
for example, the web data may be getting refreshed every 5
ah,
minutes, every 10
ah,
minutes, every 15
ah,
minutes.
ah, ah,
But my Power BI is going to pull the data source only once in 2 hours.
okay.
So that means my Power BI is intelligent enough to link with the database, pull the database, and throw the visualization. Because I have already fixed the visualization that I want it in bar chart or I
Correct,
want it in pie chart.
correct.
And then it gets pushed into the cloud, what you call as Power BI service. And then further it gets pushed into the customer's mobile Power BI access or desktop Power BI access.
Correct.
So it is a smooth flow. So once I have configured the database part of it, after that I do not need to work on Power BI the whole day.
Correct. That is correct. That part is correct. That is perfectly fine.
Correct, na? So now the only time when I will start reworking on the Power BI will be when I have a different project.
Correct.
Like I have already given some fixed number of visualizations which needs to go at regular intervals, probably once in a day, probably 4 times in a day, probably once in 15 days, probably once in a week. If there are exceptions, only then I will need to work, I will need to use the Power BI manually once again.
Okay.
That is what I want to understand.
It's a bit kind of different. Like right now, I'm going to this site itself, right? The COVID site, right? So why I am going? I'm an end user of that site. That's what you can think, correct? So why I'm going to this COVID site? Because I'm an end user. I'm trying to consume the data, or I'm trying to read this data from this one, correct? So if there is an end user, right? It is that person's responsibility to consume the data. So we cannot make that happen actually. So if I need to understand what is the India case, I will have to go here and I'll have to get this data. Only thing what can be done, or the almost all the reporting tools do is indirect way of doing it, right? There is something called subscription. Okay, there's something called subscription where what I'm trying to say is, okay, here it's not visible, unfortunately. So what I'm trying to do here is I will deliver this report. I will deliver this report to Karthik. Okay, so Karthik need not come to Power BI and check this report at all. So this particular report, I will send it to him via email. Okay, so that I can tell Power BI that this report throw it to Mr. Karthik every day. Okay, so what happens is through a mail, right? It will be delivered. For example, I'll show you. Probably I have that report. But if there's a product built, right? And then product they may be able to sell, which is not no longer Power BI. They may have their own product, a reporting tool. Each company has come up with their own reporting tool, their own ETL tool. So that they may sell along with the project, but ultimately they'll have to maintain that. See, that's a problem, right? So Power BI, time to time, they will upgrade, they will bring the new features. So that's a maintenance. Or Microsoft has employed so many people behind the scene. They may have thousands of people working for Power BI application, building the Power BI. Okay, so I'm just giving a random number. It may be true, more or less. Okay, thousands of people will be working on this Power BI. Okay, so that's what they do, maintenance, and they do support and all those things. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's why IT is so much. IT crowd is so much. Now we are
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
understand,
I understand.
right? So it's not one person's job at all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go back. I
Yeah.
think since this I will take one more day, one
Sure.
or
Sure.
two
Sure.
days it will take. But
No
at the
issues.
high level I explained. Okay. Let's come back to the discussion point, which is COVID. Correct. So once you are good with this, right? Once you are good with this similar thing, what we do here is the same thing. So I want to understand by country, right? By country, how many cases are there? How many active cases are there? Or how many deaths are there, something like that. Okay, so for that again same thing. So probably let us just go to the active case part, right? So it automatically comes up this is basically the total cases kind of thing. Okay, and by country if I do, right, it gives by country. Naturally the US is already having I think 10 lakh cases or something. All right. So India is having some cases, 21,000. Okay. It is still, I think it has gone to the old data. Okay. So this is as of some date. Okay. So this is the visual representation. If you need some filters, right? So this is having all the countries, some 200 plus countries, right? So you can make it like active cases with the filter you can apply. Active cases, which is probably greater than only 20,000 or something. Okay, greater than 20,000. There will be probably some 10 countries or something. Then you can get only the cases which are greater than 20,000. Now you can view this in the map. Okay, so the map is possible. If I had picked country first to start with, it would have given directly the map. Okay, and since I picked the cases to start with, so it has given me the this one. For example, this is India, this is Russia, this is United States, like this. So like this, we have the cases where the countries where the cases are more than this one. Okay, all these countries we know it's having a lot of cases, right? So this is how the visualization is built using that web data. Okay, using the web data, we are able to build the visualization. Okay, so and the refresh is something you can do it in our Power BI services. Okay. So for this kind of wherever the country type of data is there, the Microsoft has given the map, Bing map. Okay. So using Bing map, we are able to do this. One second, let me remove this. So I think they have given 2-3 variations of the maps. Okay, 2-3 variations of map. This is a filled map where it is filling the country itself. Okay, whole country is filled. Whereas here it is marking the marking within the country. Okay, and one more option is also there. Shape map. Okay, shape map. So like this, it is giving 2-3 options. I think there are much more than this. So generally people use these two kind of maps. So this is how the data will be represented. Of course, you can format background, foreground, and all those things. We will come to this details once more. Okay, in one of the classes this week itself, mostly. So let us start with, go back to our sales analysis and let us do, let's start with some simple kind of charts, then we'll take up some properties and all those things. Okay, then we'll go back to DAX again, mostly next week again. Okay, next week again, let's go back to DAX. I would like you to settle down a little bit, then we will go back to DAX again. Okay, all right. So let us start with the, like, what are the various charts available and all those things. Let us see that part. Okay, all right, Karthik.
Yeah, perfectly fine, perfectly fine.
Okay,
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 now
okay. Huh.
before we go forward,
Huh.
um, now on the complete right hand side where you are showing it as fields,
Huh.
now COVID also has become one dimension, or is it a fact?
So I have not built a data dimension. I mean, I have not built a dimension model at all for this. I
Okay,
have
so it's only a
directly,
fact. It's only a fact.
it's a fact with the dimension also, because country is a dimension, no? Country is a dimension.
So
So
that's a dimension which is already existing in the database.
in the database, if I want, I can separate this out actually.
Okay, so there is a dimension called as date dim.
Correct.
The date dimension we have got in the, after the COVID-19.
Correct.
Can that be linked with the COVID as the database?
No, no, it's not possible, because there is no date key at all here. In this data set, it's not possible because you don't see a date. I'll show you in terms of this one. That's better. So there is no date. Na? This is all number.
Yeah. Okay. So
Right?
supposing it had a date.
It had a date. It is possible.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's possible to link. Okay. That's what it is. It is a common dimension, and that is one time, built one time.
Yeah, I got it.
Built one time. Okay. Yeah. Even country is there, no? Here. So this can be linked now. The country ID.
When you link the country, which is a separate dimension currently, what happens to the country dimension which is already there in the database of COVID?
Already there in financial phase.
No, in the COVID-19 cases, the country as a dimension is already available down there.
No, correct. So what I'm saying is you can bring the country ID here, not the country name.
Okay.
Then you can record. Similar to what we did. Huh?
Right.
Okay, so that way we can do.
Done.
Okay. All right. Now, let us see the visualization bit. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what our objective is now. So visualization, when it comes to visualization, there are a lot of visualization, pre-built visualization, right? Similar to Excel, Power BI has already given a lot of pre-built visualization. So the one of the most famous is, of course, bar chart or the column chart. Okay, so one of the widely used chart also, either bar chart or the column chart. Okay, one is horizontal representation, other one is a vertical representation. Okay.
So Power BI, like Excel, does not have the recommended chart or recommended recommendation is not there in the visualization part.
It is there. It is there in the Power BI service. Already it's there. Okay. So there is something called Quick Insight. So Quick Insight, you don't have to build anything. So using that, you can just you make use of that itself. Okay. They call it as Quick Insights in the Power BI.
Done.
Okay. All right. Now, coming back. So this first line, what you see, is mostly for our the bar chart and column chart. Okay. So the first one is called stacked, and the second one is also stacked. One is bar, other one is a column, and the third one is clustered. Okay. Cluster is a very famous word nowadays, right? Then the last one is 100% stacked bar chart. Okay. So which one you are familiar with or not familiar with out of this? Anyway, we'll go through that.
Yeah, let's go through it. No? Because
let's go through it.
What happens is normally we use it based on what is looking nice to us.
Okay. So all right, let us start with the something called clustered. Okay. So as the name says, the cluster means a group, isn't it? So cluster of cases, that's what the famous word used currently, isn't it? The cluster of the cases. So cluster is nothing but the grouping, right? So let us do this now. Let us take some of the measures from the fact table, measures as in the numerical things, right? Numerical things. So I will take the gross sales, right? I'll take the gross sales. I'll take by country. Okay, now I can go to country and I took this one, right? So I think there is already some kind of filter applied. Let me remove that. Okay, let me remove that. Okay, so there are, I think, 5 or 6 countries. I think this we added one of the days, it's still there. Okay, some 5,000 sales we have added, it's still there. Okay, by country, we have added this. Okay, now I can add one more, this also, net sales. Okay, so, and I can add one more thing also, maybe profit or something. Okay, so this is what cluster means. So it's, you can see the multiple values. So you have to understand the two terms here. The axis, I think you are pretty much clear. Axis is a country name here, right? Axis is a country name, and we have the values. Okay, so we can provide multiple values. The depending on the number of values, right? It is keeping on adding the bars, right? So this, since there are multiple bars available here, right? It is also known as clustered column chart. Okay, so there is absolutely no difference between this and the other one, right? Other one is what? Clustered bar chart. So it is just the way it is depicted or displayed is differently. That's all. Okay, the way it's displayed. Some people are good, or what I heard is like psychologically, this is easy to identify than the left to right is easy to identify, it seems. Then top
to bottom. Top to bottom.
Is it true?
I think yes. But
okay.
I want to understand one more thing down here. Now we are currently in the clustered column chart.
Column chart, correct.
Correct. In the cluster column chart, the axis is different in comparison to the clustered bar chart.
Okay,
if you look at countries, the countries are coming on the x-axis down.
Correct.
Whereas the moment you shift to a bar chart, it goes into a y-axis.
Correct.
So is there an opportunity that in the clustered bar chart, can I change my axis?
You can change, but why do you do that?
No, I'm just asking.
No, we can do that. But what I'm saying is the values you want to see from left to right. That's why we did that, right? So the values are here. Values have to be here. Huh?
Yeah, okay.
It is possible. But it doesn't serve the purpose. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. It doesn't make much sense also if you do that. Okay. All right. Now let us go back the clustered column chart. Okay. So this is called the visualization pane. I mean visualization options, you can say. This is basically visualization pane or canvas we call. Okay, canvas.
If I use here instead of using a clustered column chart, if I use a normal column chart, what will happen?
If you use a normal column chart, okay. So the normal column chart is not here. Okay. So when you say normal column chart, it is this. That's all. One parameter.
It's a one-dimensional.
Yeah. This is what you are saying. Normal. Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody has to read it in a layman's language, when you have a single dimension to be displayed, then you talked about a normal bar chart or a column chart. If you know multiple dimensions to talk about, then you use a bar chart of cluster column.
Yeah. Only thing is, it's not dimension; it's measure.
Measure. Yeah. Okay.
Measure. Dimension is this one. Country.
Yeah. Measure. Value. Basically.
Values. Multiple values.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a cluster. Okay. When you are comparing the multiple, for example, sales versus profit, I want to compare, right? Gross sales versus profit, or gross sales versus net sales, something like this. Okay. So the two parameters you want to compare side by side. Okay. So that time you can see that. Yeah, of course, you have always option to view these numbers. Okay. This is also known as a tool tip, basically. This whatever is coming up, right, is known as a tool tip. Okay.
But the
So
tooltip will be available only in the canvas, or will it be available once the report is flashed as a regular
published,
interval report when it is
published.
published?
When it's published, as in if you go to the Power
Like for
BI,
example, you had sent the mail, you had given a scheduled mail.
there, no. There it goes as a GIF or
Okay. So in
JPG or
case
something.
it doesn't, it does not give you any kind of number, or it does not give you any.
No. That's why that option is there. No? So you have the option. I will come to that. We will come to that in a few seconds. Okay. So I think first day I would have shown that. So that we can make it available as a static field. Okay, which we have not gone through it. So I'll come to that. Just hold on for a few seconds. Now,
are you talking about the adding databases, the data sets, so that it represents down there? What is the dark blue and what is the light blue number? Are we talking?
Numbers. Data label.
Data label. Sorry, data
label. So
okay, I got it.
Yeah, you'll have to add data. I have not come to that. So I am still in this one. Okay. So in the visualization pane, there are three things. Okay. One is choosing the fields. Okay. So what are the fields you need? So I have selected country name. Okay. And I have selected these two values right now. Okay. Two values. And then there is another thing called format. Okay. So another thing called format. So this is where our problem will be resolved. Okay. So the data label is there. You can switch it on. Okay. So as soon as I switch it on, right, it gives me a value at the top. Here you can see now it's there. So 27.3 and 25 million. And if you want that to be anywhere, you can change it. Okay. If you want it to be available in the mid of the thing, not orientation, position. If you want it to be inside center, so it is available. If you want that to be little bigger also, you can give that size, right? Somewhat like this. I think it will come with a bigger number. One second, hold on. Enlarge, okay. So what it's saying is 14 is too big, I think.
I guess for the canvas, what we have got, 14 is very big. If the canvas was bigger, then the 14 would not have been bigger.
Correct. Okay. So what has happened is I was trying to give bigger number, right? It has given me an error that is, we have to be watchful about that. So if I give 19 or something, right? So it is giving me an error here. You can see here, it's a kind of error. So data labels can't be shown, enlarge the visual or decrease the data label text size. That's what it said. So since I given too big, right, that's what the problem. So now 14, now it's able to take because I have enlarged already. So it is already kind of giving me indication because of my report size, right? The visual size, it is not able to display here. I think when it's here, it is able to display the size. Okay. But this is the way you can display the values. So now it is available to the user, even though I sent it in a mail, correct? So it is still available to the user. Okay. Now let us see some of the options. We will not go through each and every attributes of this. Okay. But
as
we
you
can
mentioned, now with the data label, it is available to the user. For example, if I send the same mail to a person who is not a user, will he still be able to see these visuals?
Yeah. Not a user means what? I'm not getting.
For example, I have a Power BI. No, I'm using Power BI. Okay, let me give a different example. Let's assume that I am Big Bazaar. And I have recruited Mr. Ramkrishna for helping me to flash the visualizations on a scheduled basis.
Hmm.
Now Ramakrishna is generating these visualizations, and he has given a scheduled time, and he knows that this visual needs to go to 400 users. 400 users. Okay. Now supposing Ramakrishna sends it to a competitive person. Supposing, I'm just
Okay.
giving
Got you. Yes.
will he be able to see the same visualization, or he will not be able to see because he does not have a Power BI program?
Okay. So it depends. Okay. So if you are, you need a license first thing. Okay. So that's how they have controlled that part. Okay.
Yeah.
So you will not be able to add each one and everyone there. Okay. So that's why it's asking your company ID for Power BI services, right?
Okay.
It is not possible to send. And second thing is, depending on number of users, you'll have to pay Microsoft. Okay, unless I am kind of doing cheating, or I am trying to do mischievous things, right?
Yeah.
I will not be able to do that basically.
Okay.
So they have the enough security thing to control. And the second thing is very, very important thing. Every company will have some kind of admin actually. Okay. So any company, like your company also has given access to some report, right? To download the report. I will not be able to go there and download the report, whatever you are doing through the portal, because they have given you access, isn't it, Karthik?
Correct.
So I will not be able to go to your site and download whatever report you are downloading, because it needs to be authenticated. Unless I share my username and password with the other person, which is against the company ethics, right? Other person will not be able to view that. Okay, so that kind of security will be there. So that is a security aspect basically. Even and going deep into that, for example, this Canada sales, probably if it's a Canada salesperson, that salesperson only should be able to see. The India salesperson shouldn't be able to see Canada salesperson's data. So that type of security will be possible to implement within Power BI. Okay, because
but then it does not make sense, no? Because if the India person is not able to see Canada report, then he does not know the comparison at all. Where is he in terms of performance?
No, he doesn't have to see sometimes. Because it is a company information or secured information. His manager may be able to see. The manager of all this salesperson is allowed to see all the data. Maybe. But that's how the security will be. That's how the companies work.
Okay.
Due to whatever reason, okay, maybe his commission is different from my commission. Okay, maybe his salary information is also there somewhere, so I shouldn't be able to see other person's salary information, right? So like that it is. So there are some confidential information which cannot be seen by everyone and each one in the company, like that. Okay, I'm just giving some crude example. That may not be exactly the case, but that's how it is. So depending on the hierarchy in the company, the access level keeps on changing.
Okay, got your point.
Okay, region-wise data. Region-wise data is a good example, right? So probably if you are some region, right, you may not have access to all other regions, all data, right? You may get to see some data. Correct, you are handling South region, but you may not have all the information about all other regions.
Correct.
Because it's restricted information.
Correct.
Right, same thing I'm talking.
Yeah.
That level of security you can implement within Power BI itself. There's the option to do that, row level security. That also we will be able to see one of the classes. Okay, now let us come back. So there is something called responsive. I'll just briefly explain what it is. So responsive means as and when I increase or decrease, right? So the graph is remaining same. Whole data is there, as you can see, right? So non-responsive means it will not be like that. So by default, it is always responsive. It's always better to keep it on. Okay, the whole visual is available to the users. So that's what responsive means. And These are all positions. Where is your x-axis? Where is your y-axis? What is the width? As I keep on changing, the size changes. If I move this x-axis, y-axis position gets changed. So all those things. These are all common on. You can explore it easily, right? So currently I have legend. Legend is this thing basically. Whatever is appearing on that, right? So that is legend, right? Gross sales and net sales. If you don't want that, you can always remove. Similarly, x-axis and y-axis, if you don't want, you can remove. It doesn't make sense generally, right? To remove x-axis and y-axis, it doesn't make much sense. But there may be cases if you want to remove the data or label, if it's your call. And these are all beautification part, which I think again you'll be able to explore. As you can see, the color got changed to something else now, right? So the color is different. So as I increase the font, it tried to adjust within that, correct? So I think font and all these things, these are all like self-explanatory, most of them, right? Uh, Concatenate labels. Title is nothing but this one. So this is called title. Title for the not that. One second. Title. Oh, title is this one. Sorry. This country name here, right? This is with the axis itself, right? Currently we are in axis. Okay, x-axis title. Sorry. Okay, so there is one more title which is at the top. That's also title. So this is the axis title. Okay, country name is axis title. If you don't need, you can remove that. Similarly, y-axis the same thing. The title will be there. Title, color, all those things are possible. These are all like mostly the self-explanatory. If you still uh, have any questions, you can explore yourself. And I think since you have done so much on the Excel or other thing, it's mostly the self-explanatory only. If at all, if you have any questions, you can always clarify later point of time, right? So data means the values basically here, whatever is the data. So that again, you can change the color and all those things, okay? For example, gross sales is now blue color, some blue color. So I can change it to some other color if I like this color. Oh, sorry. Again. Okay, so now it got changed. And net sales, if I want some light color, I can always do that. Okay, so whatever what happens in the companies is they will have their own template kind of thing. So they will go with that kind of template. So again, I'm not able to display the label, so I may have to expand this. Okay, so data label, I think we have seen to some extent how it looks and all those things. Now let us see what else is there. I think plot area and the graph area, right? This is similar to Excel. Whatever is here, this thing is known as plot area. The whole thing is a chart area or visual area. So only this part, the central part is generally the plot area, okay? The plot area. And the transparency, you can add a background image to the plot area. If you have a GIF or something, right, you can add some of the image. I don't have, I think, much images. So you can add some of the images. So I don't have anything to show, but you can explore this on your own mostly, right? So you can add a company's logo or some good background. You can always add here. Okay. Okay, this is what the title is other time I was telling. So title for the visualization itself. Okay, so title for the visualization, you can make it on and off. Then the background, right? Background is currently white. If at all you want to give something else, the background is this background. Okay, so if at all you want some light color to be given, you can give that. Okay, so these are all mostly the format as the name says. It is available there to for the beautification or make the graph look rich. Already it's rich, but you can make some more rich. Okay, then the what else is there? Tooltip we know kind of. So visual.
So whatever formatting we are doing right now, can they be created as a template? And
Yeah,
look, every time you click report,
yeah.
it comes the same format.
Yeah. You can keep it as a template. Actually, in the Power BI itself, when you try to save, right? So when you try to save, you have two options. One is known as this one, PBIX. Other one is known as PBIT. So you can store it as a template and you can share with the team basically as a template. Okay, so generally that's what happens in most of the companies, because from person to person it shouldn't differ. I mean, the company has a standard kind of colors, right? Each company has some color affinity, right?
Correct.
Because so that color, for example, I think bit orange or something, right? Big Bazaar. So that kind of color affinity will be there. So that color only is suggested in the reports also. Okay, this will also take some time. Actually, it's not built on the fly, the template, right? So there will be a lot of people who will be discussing even the font type. For example, here there is some default font type is there, right? The font type will be standardized in across all the reports, in fact. Okay, so what they do is generally they will go with one font across all the reports, but they may change it little bit here and there. For the header, they may go with one font, then the data label one font, that one. But generally what I have seen is mostly they will go with one font across all the reports so that it looks standard and professional. And size also. For example, I have given some size for this now, x-axis, and some size for this, some font color for this, some font color for other color for this, right? So that shouldn't be the case at all. The uniformity should be maintained. In fact, this will be tested by a team of people actually in the bigger companies, whether this font is looking fine, whether this font size is like that. They will check each and everything, because ultimately it is sometimes it's shared within other users also, right? Outside users, some data may be shared, non-sensitive data, right? So that time it should look professional. It shouldn't look like, okay, what kind of report they have built, right? So for that purpose, that's why the projects, as I said, right? The projects will not be done in a day or 2 days. Okay? Projects will always be running for 3 to 6 months. Some of the bigger projects will go for 2 years also, bigger implementation, right? Up to 2 years, the project will be run. IT projects, basically.